This is the Stihl MS250 chainsaw, and it's a 45cc 3.1 horsepower two-stroke chainsaw that can use from a 14 to an 18-inch bar, although I have seen some people putting on 20-inch bars. It weighs 10.4 pounds or 4.7 kilograms, that's the power head itself, and it holds 0.2 liters of bar oil and 0.47 liters of gas. But don't be fooled by its small size and lightweight appearance. This saw cuts like a fart through an elevator. What I'm trying to say is that this thing is a powerhouse in a really small package. So I think this is the perfect homeowner's saw, or even if you have a farm, this little saw is going to be great for the type of work you want to do. So will I be able to cut down a row of 40 trees using this little homeowner saw? Does it have enough power? Is this the right saw for you? What size bar do I need? Is it worth the money, or should we rather go buy a gas axe powered by a hairdryer motor, you know, those battery operated ones? Also, why does this brand new chainsaw not come in a box where all of the other brand new ones do? We are going to find out today. Well, we're also going to cut some wood. We're going to talk about the specs and features. This is a jam-packed video, so stick around and welcome back to the Burton Builds Garage. Let's get started. So full disclosure here, this video is not sponsored in any way. I'm not affiliated with Stihl, and I've paid full price for this little unit. So does this small chainsaw have enough power? Well, let me tell you, I think you're going to be really impressed. It's got more than enough power to tickle your neighbor's earballs. So the question is, how can I be standing here trying to tell you how great this little saw is if it is brand new, never been used? Well, in fact, that is my chainsaw, and it's about 7 months old, and I've used it quite a lot already. This, however, is a brand new MS250 that I got from Belmore Forest and Garden Equipment. I loaned it from them. I asked them if I could loan it basically to show you guys what a brand new saw looks like. So Belmore, thank you guys very much. You were super friendly and helpful. Very good service. So if you guys are in Port Elizabeth and you need some equipment, please go show them some support, maybe pick something up from them. So don't only take my word for it. Todd from Project Farm also had the MS250 as his top pick when he compared it to the Husqvarna, Ryobi, Echo, Craftsman, and there were a few other chainsaws. I'll link his video in the description. He makes awesome videos. I will support his choice, and the reason being, one great example is I was in fact able to cut down that row of 40 trees using this little saw without any problems. So it's a row of trees very similar to this, except twice as long. And don't be fooled by the bushy appearance. These trees are a lot bigger than they look, and some of the trunks are actually quite large. And there was plenty of power, and later on in the video I'm going to buck a whole lot of wood and show you guys how that went. But before we do, let's talk about some of the specs and features. So this saw has got a fully automatic speed controlled oil pump with a rotary piston that lubricates the bar and chain, and it only lubricates the bar and chain when the chain is spinning. Both the oil tank and the fuel tank have quick lock, quick release caps, which make it very easy and convenient to open and close even with gloves on. So both of these caps have retaining strings or a little leash that prevents the cap from being lost when it's removed. Some people don't really like this because when your saw is dirty, you take the cap off, it hangs in the dirt, and then dirt sometimes gets in when you're putting it back on. Look, guys, it's up to you. I quite like the little leashes. As I mentioned earlier, even though this saw looks small and lightweight, it packs a really mean punch, and that translates into a saw that is easy to handle, and it doesn't transmit a lot of vibrations through to the user, so it makes it really pleasant to use over a long period of time. Now you might think to yourself, well, I'm just going to get the slightly bigger one, that it's not that much heavier, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 pounds more. But believe me, after a couple of hours of use, you will definitely feel those extra 2 or 3 or 4 pounds. So my saw came with a 14-inch bar. This one also comes with a 14-inch bar, by the way. And I originally thought, is 14 inches going to be big enough? After doing all of the work that I needed to do, in fact, it was big enough. It was actually perfectly sized for my use. Although I think if I had to choose again, I would probably go with a 16-inch bar. So this begs the question, what size bar should you guys get, or even what size saw is best for you? We are going to talk about that shortly. So the MS250 has an easily adjustable side chain tensioner using the tool that's included in the kit. Now basically you just need to loosen both of the nuts, hold the nose of the bar up, rotate the adjuster screw to remove any sag from the bottom of the chain, then tighten both nuts again, and lastly, check that the chain runs freely along the bar, and it is that simple. It's also got an outward facing sprocket, which means changing the bar and chain for servicing just makes it that little bit easier. On the left side of the saw, it also has a master control lever, and this is a single lever that controls the choke, the start, the run, and the off position. So this, in conjunction with the throttle trigger, it also has a trigger lockout for safety. This is used to start and operate the machine. And if you are interested in seeing a video about how to start the saw, let us know in the comments and maybe I'll make it for you guys. The carburetor and the air filter are also easily accessible behind a removable top cover, and it requires no tools to remove the cover. Just remember to set the master control lever to the choke position or to the bottom before trying to remove the cover. And under the cover, this model still has a fully adjustable carb with high speed, low speed, and idle speed settings. The air filter is reusable, so you just unclip it and blow it out when you need to clean it. Just blow it out with a bit of compressed air, or if it's really dirty, wash it out with a bit of warm soapy water, let it dry, and you'll be bucking timber again in no time. Chop, chop. It's also got a summer and winter shutter plate underneath the cover here, so at temperatures less than 10 degrees Celsius, you'll take the plate out, turn it around, stick it back in, and this helps prevent the carb from icing up. It's also got rugged and pretty sharp bumper spikes or dogs at the front of the saw, and they actually provide really good grip in timber. So what is the saw like to hold? Well, it's actually very comfortable to hold in both the vertical and the horizontal cutting positions. And it actually feels quite well balanced with a 14 or a 16-inch bar on it. The chain brake is also easy to engage with a single hand movement. So looking at the saw from the outside, the body, the covers, the handlebar are all made out of plastic, but not to worry, it is PA6 GF30, which is a 30% glass fiber reinforced nylon plastic. It is really strong stuff, it's very hard wearing and long lasting, so nothing to worry about there. So that all said, let's go and cut some wood. So I must say, after cutting up all of these bits and pieces of wood, of course cutting down the row of trees over there, which you guys have pretty much already seen, this little Stihl MS250 is doing pretty well. I'm quite impressed. It's, as I've said before, it's a small package, but don't be fooled, it's really powerful actually. 3 horsepower, also doesn't sound like a lot, but it seems to have done a fairly good job. Now this is quite a stack of wood already, as you can see. It took me a little while, probably about an hour, to process all of that. This is what we've cut down. So we've got trees starting there and moving all the way along here. I don't know what the count is, but it goes all the way along there. It's probably a 30-meter wall. I would guess, I'll put it up on screen, but I would guess there's probably about 60 trees that we've cut down. So I must say, for a home gamer saw DIY, that Stihl is doing very well. So here's our finished pile of wood. Now everything has been piled up. We've also cleaned that whole lot up, and that's the catch that we've got. Now it doesn't look like much on camera, but it is definitely a rather large pile of wood. Of course, before we burn it, we are going to have to split some of it. So, you know, these bottom logs are quite big. I reckon I'm going to have to borrow some type of hydraulic splitter, something that's going to make the job a whole lot easier than using a splitting axe. You know, but that's another day's worry. I'm just pretty glad that we got all the wood processed and stacked up. So what you've just seen is only half of the amount of wood that came from cutting down all of those trees. The first half was actually loaded onto a truck and taken away. But thinking about it now, this saw made such light work of it, I should have actually just cut the whole lot up. So why doesn't this brand new saw come in a box, and is it the right saw for you? Well, we'll answer those questions right now, but before we do, I'd like to ask for your support. If you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. Let us know in the comments if you want to see more of these types of videos. Your support is really what keeps this channel going. So guys, thank you all very much. You are awesome. So why doesn't it come in a box? Well, I asked the guys at Belmore Forest and Garden Equipment, why doesn't this brand new saw come in a box? And Project Farm also mentioned this. Well, they said it's actually quite simple. Each saw comes with a PDI, a pre-delivery inspection, so that it's tested, working, and literally ready to run the second you walk out the door. They also demonstrate to you as the customer a basic overview of how to use the machine, how to start it, how to tension the chain, how to clean the air filter, and all of that good stuff. Now, you ain't going to get that from a cardboard box. So a few things to keep in mind. This model has a high compression engine and there's no decompression valve to make it easier to pull start. But guys, you know, let's just be real with each other here. This is only a 45cc engine, and although it does have high compression, if it is too difficult or too hard for you to pull, you probably shouldn't be using the saw anyway. Also, there are no captive nuts on the sprocket cover, so just keep that in mind if you are making adjustments or taking it off in the field. Losing your nuts is a little bit inconvenient. Also, every time you fill the gas tank here at the back, make sure you fill the bar oil in the front. Running out of oil will quickly damage your bar and chain. So is this the right size saw for you? Well, just keep this in mind. Use the right size tool for the job. Basically, you want to pick up a saw that best suits the most common size of wood that you guys are going to be cutting. So what I mean by this is, don't go and buy this mighty pro-range powerhouse of a saw thinking you're going to put a 14-inch bar on it. It's not going to work. Look, it will work, but it's not going to be great. Also, don't think you're going to go buy a small little homeowner saw and put this massive 24-inch bar on. That is also not going to work. Something like basic property maintenance, where you'll be cutting small trees, pruning, limbing, bucking some firewood, is probably going to be better suited towards these medium-sized saws with a 14, 16 or maybe an 18-inch bar. If you need to be cutting down bigger trees, sure, 20-inch bar and bigger, but then you're moving over to a bigger machine. So in the medium category, I think this is great. And another little tip here, bigger is not always better. The bigger the machine, the heavier it gets, the longer the bar is, the more difficult it is to control or handle, relatively speaking. So using an overspec machine is just going to fatigue you in a much shorter period of time. And this is really not a tool that you want to be using if you're tired and you don't have full control. It can really hurt you badly. Also, a smaller bar is easier to control and handle, and you can still cut down fairly large trees with this. It just takes a little bit more technique, and that is something you'll learn over time. Also, guys, please remember safety gear, chaps to protect your legs, earmuffs to protect your ears, safety glasses or even a face shield or helmet to protect your eyes. Sometimes the helmets come with built-in shields and earmuffs. Also, gloves and shoes, don't forget those. I'll try and link all of the safety gear in the description, so maybe go and read the reviews on them. If you want to pick something up, just make your choice from there. So overall, this is a phenomenal little saw. Would I buy it again? Hell yes. It's got more than enough power for my needs. It's got more power than what it looks like it has, and it's actually very easy to control and handle. These saws have been around for 20 years and have an excellent track record of being reliable, functional and durable, which is exactly why I decided to go with Stihl. And spare parts are also readily and easily accessible. So I hope you guys found the video useful. If you did, please subscribe. Also check out the other cool videos on my channel. My name is Burton. This is the Burton Builds Garage, and you guys will see me in the next video. Cheers.